Okay, so first things first, you're going to want to go onto your second photo. Make your first layer the photo that is your second photo, I guess. Just like I'm doing. Now, on layer 2 and 3, you're going to want to make those both the last frame of your previous scene. Now go on to layer 2 like I'm doing and hit add mask and select the shape that I have right here. It's like half of like the screen rectangle. Go onto your third layer and tap the little button I'm tapping to make the other half masked. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a keyframe at the very beginning and the very end and just slide your photo outwards. So you're going to slide it left for the first way and right for the second, like the third layer, so like the opposite way. Here I'm just adding on my graph. It's just a simple out graph. You guys can do any like creative graphs you want. It's just whatever, but this is just the way I do it. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing with my second photo, or my third layer, whatever. Now you're going to want to go into that first layer that you have. You're going to want to go to the effects and search up multi. Just type in multi and then like multi squish should pop up, or squish multi, and select horizontal if you're doing it the way I am, but if you're going to do it the opposite way then select vertical, but I'm doing horizontal. Now you're going to want to tap opacity to get to your layout, and I made mine about 57, added a keyframe at the beginning and then one at the end and put it back down to 0. And you could do like a bouncy graph for this, but I just did like a simple out graph. That's just like how I did it. Now I'm just going to add like a little flash on this photo as well, just to give it like a little effect. This is optional, you don't need to. I just like the way it looks. So I just typed in brightness. I put the brightness setting all the way up. I'm going to tap on the size just to get to the color, and I'm going to make the opacity on the last keyframe 50%. I didn't add a graph just because I didn't feel like it. And that's what the final transition should look like. I also added on tracking blur to my layers 2 and 3, which is optional. You could just use VSMB if you want. I just like the way that it looked. And this is going to be the final transition. Okay, for this next one, you're going to want to go on to your second photo. Or like the second half of your transition, I guess. Make the first frame the last frame of the previous scene, or the first layer, my bad. Then make your second layer the photo that you want to be revealed, or like your second photo. Now what I did is I went on and I did a zoom out transition, so it's zooming out from like the top. You're gonna see it. So yeah, so just you can copy like my settings or whatever, but it's just a simple zoom out. Now I added on the circular blinds effect, or just blinds is what it's called, I think. You can copy my settings, but it's just like a circular blind transition. I basically just made the layout 100 for the first keyframe and 0 for the last keyframe. And then I just did a simple out graph, but if you have like any fancy graphs you want to use, you can use those too. So yeah, after I added on my graph, I also went ahead and I added on drop shadow to the circle blinds just to like give it a little bit of a look. I don't know. I definitely adjusted it because if you don't, it's just going to make it look like your second photo is there in the background. It's just going to be black. So if you don't want that effect, you can definitely adjust the drop shadow, and this is the final transition. I also added on a little bit of VSMB just to make it look a little bit smoother. So yeah. This last transition is not really complex, but the graph is. So like if you don't know how to use graphs, you're probably going to want to use like a pre-made one. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and start off as if you're doing a simple flip. Make sure you have it so that it's just a white background or transparent background so that you can't see the photo anymore on the last keyframe. Now go ahead and copy the graph that I'm doing. I'm just adjusting it a bit right here, and I'm going to go back and adjust it in a couple of seconds. But once you have your graph the way you like, just follow what I do next after this. Now, once you have your graph done and the way you like it to look, move a few frames before the end of your clip, add a keyframe on opacity, and at the very end of your clip, turn the opacity all the way down. You don't need to add on any special graphs for this, it's just the way it's going to make it look. Now go onto your second photo and go ahead and finish off that flip transition. Basically, what you're going to want to do is make it like the opposite way. So you're going to want to turn it the opposite way you did for the first keyframe or the first half of the transition. I just did a normal out graph because I didn't really feel like messing around with like certain graphs, just because it kind of all looks the same anyways. Now, at the beginning, turn the opacity all the way down, move a few frames forward, add a keyframe for opacity, and then turn it all the way back up. And this is what the final transition should end up looking like once you're complete or finished.